Are you ready for some
phenomenal cosmic powers?
Keep in mind this 4th era 209 mod list is not a simplifying the best mods for everything or all mods for everything. It's showing what I use in my current game, plus any cool things I want to mention.
I just think they're neat.
Also, this is one big list for myself, so I can finally keep track of what spells are useful. This is going to be a long one. As far as I know, I have 61 mods that add spells. I have at least 21 magic gameplay mods. There are a few more quest mods and other odds and ends that add useful spells too that I'll mention. Also, stabs and scrolls, enchantments, and such. I'll start off with the big lists first and slide down to the smaller ones. I consider doing it school by school, but too many lists cover all the schools. I'm going to have an entire section enhancing magic in general. You know what, I actually think I should talk a little about vanilla magic. I would say the spells list has gotten a large downgrade in every TES game since Daggerfall, and no custom spell making. There was custom spell making in every other TES game. There's the obvious things like now there's no teleportation, flight, levitation, but there are also not really huge destruction spells anymore like Fingers of the Mountain. And illusion mind control spells aren't great. And there are some bugs in general. But don't worry, we'll restore all those things and add some new stuff too. To be honest, alteration mods are the money mods here, since most new alteration spells give you new tools in your toolkit, whereas new destruction spells give you different ways to blow people up. First of all, if you get nothing else here, you should absolutely get Scrambled Bugs, as it allows more than one magic effect to be applied at the same time and is actually required by a lot of spell mods. And Dual Casting Fix. So what's the point to adding like 1,000 spells to Skyrim and adding their tomes to leveled lists for loot, merchants, and enemies via spit? Well, same reason I did the same with equipment. So there's so many options I can't possibly sift through all of them. And I end up finding them in the wild, organically. I call it curating uncertainty. And yes, I did bring you out to this field to demo a lot of the spells. Anyway, big lists. Start with Apocalypse, Arcanum, Mysticism, and Odin. All of them add a large number of spells to every school. Odin and Apocalypse are fine to work together, and they actually won't put duplicate spells in the game. They do have some duplicate spells. Odin also fixes a lot of weird inconsistencies in vanilla spells, scrolls, and staves. Mysticism suggests not using it with Odin, since, Simon Rim and Enirim incompatibility and rivalry. I have Odin loaded later in my load order, so the edits to vanilla spells are taken from it. Here are some highlights from those huge lists. Apocalypse. Okado's Recital, which stores and autocasts a spell when you enter combat. Fabricate Object, which lets you summon furniture, including crafting tables. Various large master level destruction spells like Fingers of the Mountain, Flame Strike, Forbidden Sun, Howling Blast, Twister, Volcano, and Apocalypse. There's also Dispel Magic from Illusion, and lots of new summons. Arcanum. Poison and life attack spells in Restoration. A spell that converts mind affecting spells to damage in Mind Twist. Destruction spells that combine 2 elements, which seems related to the Arcane Accessory CC I will mention later. And of course, new summons and big destro spells in Boiling Earth, Sol Invictus, Maelstrom, and Tri-Attack. Mysticism. Open lock spells. Restoration has Sunbeam and Sun spells. Huge buff spells, as well as Poison Cloud attacks. And of course, more big destruction and more summons. Also more bound weapons. Odin. Various buff spells, more summons, and it causes summons to scale. It also adds different modes of destruction spells. It, as I mentioned earlier, improves vanilla spells. You know how all the novice destro spells are channeled and all the next level are bolts, etc.? It adds new combos of these. Also, big destruction spells and summons, including one of my personal favorites, Black Winter. That's just the highlights. Phenderix Magic Evolved has an entire ecosystem of elements in Wind, Water, Earth, Blood, Shadow, and Divine spells, which all play off the vanilla elements. Like, being hit with water spells and getting waterlogged makes vanilla shock spells deal more damage to you. Also, it has a bunch of quality of life summon spells like Summon Horse Assortment. It also has Teleport to Skyrim Cities, which I chose to only give to Conjuration Masters. Also, I chose not to do any spit distribution with this one since it's got some off-the-wall unbalanced spells, but some neat concepts. Lost Grimoire. This has a lot of what the other big lists have. More summons, more big destruction spells. It also adds polymorph spells, the baleful kind like World of Warcraft, turning a target into a harmless creature. And the Druid or Polymorph self-type, which lets you turn into a Chaurus, wolf, horse, giant spider, etc. Which is why it has more requirements. Here's one I don't have enabled in my current game. Colorful Magic adds a truly insane number of things. 345 spells, 40 unique enemies including boss-type enemies spread throughout the world, and 5 unique followers. If you don't like being jump-scared by boss fights, there's a spells-only version available. The reason I don't have it enabled in 209 is I feel the power creep hasn't gotten to that level as of yet. It is coming though. It was enabled in my 220 game. Now a short list of small spell lists. Andriel additional spells adds things like heal constructs in Daedra, better skin spells and wards, and a few detect spells. Arcane Accessories is a Creation Club mod that comes from AE, which adds new robes, a bunch of random utility spells that each do 2 things, and the infinitely useful Elemental Bolt series of spells. Ash Magic, which is not ESL and needs to be compacted, adds basically a ward, a skin, a cloak, and attack spells, all ash flavored. Good for the Ashlander. Become Ethereal spell adds a new alteration spell that duplicates the Become Ethereal shout, making you invincible but unable to harm anyone. Bound Armor adds Bound Daedric armor, like you used to be able to do. Buff Others, not just for Skyrim Together, allows you to grant invisibility, cloaks, muffle, resist, etc. to followers and NPCs. Elemental Dash adds a number of elemental dashes, so now you can close the gap with your Spell Knight character. Also extremely useful if you don't have Whirlwind Sprint. Immersive Illusion Spells by J Serpa is one of the few illusion mods that add to your illusions toolkit, ranging from disguises, mirror images, to total mind control at master level. Liminal Portals allows you to create linked portals anywhere in Skyrim. Magicka Shield adds a mana shield alteration spell like World of Warcraft. A mage can cast it to redirect some damage taken to their mana pool. Stack it with skins. Mimic Tear adds the ability to summon a ghostly clone of your character like Elden Ring. Powerful Conjuration. Necromancy summon spells gives you the ability to summon undead rather than relying on finding dead bodies in the wild. Reach Magic, also not ESL and needs to be compacted, adds various random Reachman-themed magic like Corruption Bolt, Healing Vines, and Briar Thorns, which deal damage to your attackers. RuneScape Alchemy adds 2 spells that can transmute items directly into gold at a percentage of their cash value. Huge for carry weight. Skyggerfall is a large New Lands quest mod that adds Daggerfall's main quest in Skyrim as a possible alternate start to the Helgen experience. The reason this made it on my forever list is that there are a lot of spells that existed in TAS2 that no longer exist, which this mod adds back, most notably Levitation and Mark and Recall. Useful Alteration is probably the most comprehensive quality of life list of alteration spells in a single mod. Chop, Pluck, Reel, Mine, chops wood, catches all nearby insects, catches fish, mines ores. I know if I was a mage, this is the kind of work-saving magic I'd be using, for sure. It also has the lock spell, which you can use to chalk doors behind you if you're up against a huge force, and the unlock spell I use, although there are several unlocking spells in this video already, because this is a single spell that unlocks based on your alteration skill. Okay, next 2 mod authors I'll point out, Kittytail and Darenii. They both have a huge list of small themed spell lists that usually add the same few things. Attack spells, cloaks, shields, possibly summons. A lot of them have little utility spells too. For example, Kittytail has Ancient Blood Magic, Holy Magic, Wildbreaker Magic, which is Flora themed, and a dozen others. Darenii has Shadow, Arcane, Lunar, Star Magic, and Lava based magic. Check out the description for a comprehensive list. Oh yeah, and one thing I almost forgot, even though I demonstrated it during the start of this video, Flying Mod. It may or may not be the best magic flying mod out there, but it's the one I used. And it's the one required by Animated Wings Ultimate, which is what I used for Rohisa and Galahad. Next section, I have chosen to call Elevating the Art. Mods that don't necessarily add spells, but mostly enhance existing spells or improve the gameplay of spells in general.
This is where the fun begins.
Out of order, I'm going to suggest you get a perk Overhaul. It allows new builds, strengthens the mage playstyle. I use Ordinator. You can choose what you like, but I'm going to highlight some of the best things about Ordinator for mages. Alteration has various passive buffs, including your flesh spells being better, your resist being better, the ability to use Fancy in magic, which sounds horrible, but it's interesting. Also a perk I almost always get with mages, Intuitive Magic, which lets you cast Novice and with 2 points, Apprentice spells for no magicka. Conjuration has a Necromancy section which lets you get permanent skeletons. You can have more summons and improve bound weapons. Also, Destruction adds effects to each kind of elemental damage. This is doubly useful with the dual element spells from Arcane Accessories and Arcanum. Illusion adds buffs to your allies, the ability to control others, make aggressive illusory clones of them, and improves existing illusion effects. Restoration adds automatic healing for yourself and people around you, and buffs. Oh, and the first perks in every tree gives you dual casting and makes them scale. Also, the enchanting tree gives you buffs to using staves and automatically recharges your enchanted weapons. So anyway, elevating the art. 360 ward makes your vanilla wards more like a force field, so you're not just blocking stuff in front of you. Which, take it or leave it, it looks cool. Useful for you, but not great to have enemies doing it. Note that I don't have this turned on for exactly that reason. Animate bound weapons automatically creates an animated weapon when you dual cast a bound weapon, even ones added by mods. Arcane Studies has a spell learning system in which you study a spell or scroll and can wait and have a chance to randomly learn new spells based on what you're studying. Like if you study Firebolt, you might learn Fireball. So far, I've not been able to get it to work since it requires paper and ink, but the other mods that affect these vanilla items might mess up the mod's functionality. Cool concept, less heavily modded setups will probably have no problems. Better telekinesis makes the telekinesis spell give you several variations of the spell, which allows you to pick up many objects from the area from a long distance and launch them, and also picking up people. Press shift to drop objects. Casting bar gives you a visible casting bar for your spells. Quality of life MMO functionality. There are 2 mods at least that give you the ability to cast hands-free, like you did in Oblivion before. Andrioletius made cast spells as lesser powers. It lets you convert spells essentially into shouts. I don't like how they look like you're shooting the spell from your mouth, but the functionality is great. Also, spells as lesser powers gives you a certain number of spells preloaded as powers and doesn't do the from the mouth ability. Besides having your hands free, there's one more reason these are really great mods. If you're playing as a non-Dragonborn mage, your power button is most likely just free real estate. Cumulative Fear, Frenzy, Calm entirely changes the vanilla illusion game. Fear, Frenzy, and Calm in the vanilla game work as a pass-fail system. If you fail to affect a target, the spellcast was useless. With this mod, you can repeatedly cast the spells to build up something like damage. Once the accumulated value exceeds a predetermined value, they'll be affected by the spell. Enhanced Invisibility fixes a few small bugs with invisibility, mostly visual, but it's power of 3. It takes no slots, so I'd grab it. Fizzle gives you the ability to fail to cast spells you're too low level to cast, beyond not having enough magicka.
I'm going to try a fireball. Darn it, not yet.
I really like the concept of this, but I actually turned it off in my current game. Just like survival mods, it gets annoying real fast. But it is highly immersive. Magic critical hits and magic sneak attacks give your spells the ability to do those 2 things. You can play a true arcane trickster, magic assassin, or insane crit mage now. Necromancy no level cap allows you to reanimate corpses up to level 99. J-Serpa's NPCs react to necromancy and invisibility are immersive add-ons that do just that. People in a real magical world would be disgusted if you reanimated their grandpa for their undead army.
That's creepy, I tell you.
And if you went invisible, they'd be suspicious, or at the very least, amazed.
What? Where are you?
Yep, Hale's going bad.
Stop that!
Kittytail's piercing expert spells makes expert level spells pierce through their targets, allowing you to hit multiple targets with them, making them markedly better than their low level counterparts, which have similar modes of travel. Here's a big one. There are several spellcrafting mods, including a creation. I use simple, obvious spellcrafting, which lets you use a spell tome of a spell you already know, and create a new version of that spell, power limited based on your skill. But this is mainly numerical. 4th era spellcrafting allows you to mix effects and create new spells, just like Oblivion. Spell hotbar, similar to casting bar, adds MMO functionality of a bar of spells at the bottom of the screen. This is especially helpful for mages, who should have dozens of spells on tap. Bonus, it allows you to cast hands free, like cast spells as lesser powers does. There's also a beta for Spell Hotbar 2, which uses SKSE instead of Papyrus. So, an improvement. Something I like, but you might not, and why all the names of my spells, scrolls, and staves are so long, is Spell Level Automatic Adjusted Description, or SLOD. It adds the school and level, like Novice to Master, to every single spell name. It makes them extremely easy to search and identify. Strange Runes is an oldie but goodie that gives all your spells rune and magic circle effects. Master Spell Runes, an unrelated but synergistic mod, adds huge magic circles to the ground when you cast a master level spell. Transmutation Magic Overhaul adds yet another level of functionality to Alteration, an entire pseudo-crafting system centered around transmuting materials into other materials. Use Telekinesis on traps allows you to disarm traps with Telekinesis. Ward functionality extended makes wards stronger, and it also allows them to block melee weapons and arrows to a degree. I don't use this because, while it would be great for the player, enemies tend to have infinite magicka and just ward for an insane amount of time. Whew. Okay, here's a couple of mods for staffs. Sorcerer adds staff and scroll enchanters to the game, so you can make your own. The scroll enchanter uses ink and paper. The staff enchanter is similar to the single one in the base game in Soul Slime that uses heartstones, except you can use soul gems. The one in Soul Slime is still better, since heartstones can just be mined in Soul Slime. But it gives you more options. Staff Enhanced Magicka gives you extra base magicka when you're holding a staff in your hand. I like having a staff in my offhand and swapping between the spells to supplement my magicka and staff charge, because low level mages tend to run out of magicka really quickly. Learn Spells from Staves allows you to learn spells from staves. Okay, 2 more sections. I am definitely feeling fatigue while writing this, and my voice too, and hopefully you're not feeling fatigue in listening. 1. I just wanted to include a section of powers for the less magically inclined.
These are people of the land, you know. Morons.
The first requires MCO or BFCO, and it's one I've mentioned before, Elden Rim. Beyond having a good moveset for each weapon type, it has various attack powers, similar to Elden Ring and Dark Souls 3. Maybe one day I'll make a tutorial about using just this mod, because it's a little daunting. One of my biggest use powers in Elden Rim, especially for non-Dragonborns using heavy weapons, is the Refresh Slash. It's a quick attack cancels that has a chance to knock down humanoids. It's a good get off me, get out of trouble ability, and it's instantly usable with your shout button. And there actually are some magical looking things in this, but they're all tied to weapons. The other one is a bit older, called Warrior Poets. Its powers use your stamina instead of magicka. So basically, turning a resource that you were already building to be able to just do things in combat into the ability to do more things in combat. Some of them are quasi-magical. Some of them are enhanced by your magical skills. And I would also not put this on any distribution lists, because it's got some unbalanced stuff in it. And now the final section, which I've chosen to call the Dynamic Action section. If you want to completely change how your spellcaster plays, and have it be more like a martial art, you know, like Avatar, there are a few paths, but it's probably best to pick one and stick with it. One is to use Shupao's Blade Staff MCO moveset. You essentially cast spells via your Blade Staff. There are a couple add-ons that add support for more spells as well, and there are instructions to do so yourself. I'm not going to go deep into this, and a tutorial could be a video into itself, but check this out, it's pretty cool. Another method uses dynamic animation casting, which is similar to MCO or even DAR, but for spells, and pair it with Elden Catalyst. Elden Catalyst lets you do a couple things. You can cast your offhand spell through a weapon, which has pretty limited functionality since it doesn't free up any hands, or you can cast any spell through a staff, cycling through your spells with the up and down keys. Essentially, this is an alternative to using spell hotbar, or having a million hotkeys, which is what I usually do. Of course, DAC is a really cool concept, but it has very few mods that utilize it. The two that come to mind are Autobound Weapon, which lets you press the draw button to summon your bound weapon instead of having it be a full cast, and Formless Mist, which gives your dodges an illusory mist form. Another one, the Kineticist mod, which uses MCO and basically changes your attacks to be spells, while equipped with the focus that comes with the mod. The basic attack is a zero-cost magic dart, power attacks are elemental attacks, forward power attacks are different elemental attacks, etc. And another similar mod, Smooth's Hogwarts in Skyrim gives you a magic wand that lets you cast various pre-made spells using MCO. This is similar to a staff, equipped with a group of spells usable only with the wand, which could be cool, especially if somebody found a way to convert it to using with any weapon or staff. Perhaps you're using a combination of these aforementioned mods. Or the stances mod, maybe. It would be pretty cool if you could just go into a caster stance or a warrior stance using the same weapon. Anyway, that's all I have. This was a lot of mods. Pay no attention to that guy in the back. I'm going to do Dakota at some point. I know there was no skit at the beginning of this, but I'm starting to get the feeling that nobody likes those anyway. Hope you found a way to make your spellcaster into a demigod here. I chose not to highlight shouts since the mage is a distinct playstyle from the Dragonborn. I know a lot of people play non-Dragonborns as well. Also why cast spells as powers and various other mods are useful. So long and thanks for watching.